Hello everyone and welcome to the 6th episode of Sim Rig Tour. I know that has been 2 months, but with the changes in the house and only now I've been able to get some momentum behind some of the videos that I want to do. If you'd like to feature on an episode, go to our Discord below, go to the Sim Rig channel and post your images there, and also leave a description. If you'd like to support this channel to make more of these types of videos, don't forget to leave a like, consider subscribing, tell me in the comments which one of the next sim rigs you like the most, and also if you are going to buy anything from GT Omega and Fanatec, also consider using the affiliate links. First entry comes from ZeroSelect, which allows us to start this episode really strong. ZeroSelect brings us a souped up setup with all the bells and whistles, and I really mean all the bells and whistles. Talk about a sim racing rig endgame where you even have a license plate on your sim rig. This setup is the first, I believe, to feature a full motion simulator in this series, so it's a rig that spares no expenses. The modified SimLab GT1 has plenty connected to it, a SimLab triple screen mount having 3 LG 32 inches 144Hz 1440p monitors, a SimuCube 2 Pro for Honda levels of torque, a Sparco Evo L seat with the OMP harness, which is going to be needed because the SimLab has connected to it a 3 degree of movement rig, a PT actuator 3DOF, plus traction loss motion. All of this is running on a Thanos controller, and as a Thanos controller, it either should be because everything is balanced, like everything should be, or only half the people using it will survive. ZeroSelect hasn't disclosed that, but regardless, this setup is the quintessential centerpiece of any man cave. What a great share. Next up is Theo Loop's setup. This one is far more toned down than the previous one, but it's still rig porn nonetheless. Theo's setup is basically function meets form at a very high level. All pieces of this rig seem to be very deliberately chosen to create a high-end rig, keeping the simplicity of it to the maximum. Once again, it's a SimLab GT1 Evo, which has connected to it a large mounting arm to allow for a huge 40-inch TV. The seat is a Procar Drifter, which seems to be really comfy, and the wheel is an AccuForce V2 with a Fanatec V3 pedal set, which seems to be running stock. Also a first in the series, I think it's the BBJ button box, but anyways, the ergonomics resulting from this simple layout seem to be on point. Maybe this is one of the most wholesome rigs I've seen this year. The third entry comes from Godinho, another clean sim racing rig in this video, but sadly not much information is given on most of it. But I think we can figure most of it out. This is going to be the first entry of the Simatic's new K2R, and what a great choice by a Portuguese man supporting a Portuguese company, so hats off to Godinho. I think this is the new K2R because of that pedal plate which is now running on aluminum profiles. On the rig, he has attached a OMP bucket seat. His wheel is a Fanatec CSW V2.5 with the Fanatec F1 Esports. For pedals, he is rocking a CSL Elite load cell. I can figure out much more from his photos, but behind the bucket seat, I think those are some water shoes, so I see he is a person of culture as well. Godinho's setup is simple and makes the room feel cozy and large. Personally, I hope to get to try out one of those Simatic rigs soon. Mr. Shmorta, and I think it's pronounced Mr. Shmorta, comes next with the room that is likely known to a lot of us. As he is a sim racer, he gets the corner of the house. Mr. Shmorta's setup is divided between two main areas, the sim rig and his desk. On his desk he has two 24-inch screens, I believe. This would be the area where he flight sims. On the right side, where the sim racing rig is stationed, if you see the roof line, I believe the choice of places was deliberate because the roof drops quite a bit, so the rig seems to be in the right place. His rig is a Sparco gaming rig, rocking a Sparco Evo seat and a LG 34-inch 1440p screen. As for controllers, there's a CSW V2.5, the smoothest belt wheel on the market attached to the sexiest round wheel on the market, which is the Porsche 911 Cup Club Sport. Pedals wise, he's running a Fanatec V3 pedal set. Despite the amount of equipment attached, the setup is pretty clean and straightforward. I really like the Track Racer single monitor stand, as the modern lines of that stand makes any sim rig look more modern instead of normally of the assortment of tubes and aluminum they look. So it's pretty cool. For number 5, we got the owner of the casting couch, which will be Dave BW. While not as high-end as most of the entries here, it's still a fantastic sim rig. This one is an interesting one because the aluminum chassis was custom made, and I'm quoting Dave here, blindly knocked together. Regardless, I think the result embodies the flexibility of the 80/20 profiles, as from that cobbled together rig, he is able to do anything to it, including creating a mount for an ultra-wide LG screen, having a custom handbrake and shift mount, essentially bringing all the bells and whistles from a do-it-yourself rig. I said this isn't as high-end as the other rigs we've presented here today because this rig is rocking a T300 RS base, which is still a great wheel by the way, and I highly recommend it. But Dave throws us a curveball on that one too. The wheel he is using is custom made, just like the 2 button boxes he has in the rig. I mean, everything in this rig has had Dave's finger in it, so this rig encapsulated the do-it-yourself nature that sim racing oftentimes requires to address each sim racer's need. It is a truly inspirational rig. Last but not least, this will be Race Nuts setup. This is another 80/20 rig, this time coming from Track Racer. In my opinion, this setup is dangerous as the bar sits too close to the rig. He seems to have a few bottles of good tipple there. Sadly, RaceNut hasn't provided any specs of the bar, and I mean the sim rig, but we can more or less figure it out. The setup seems to be a Track Racer TR80 Mac 2 rocking a Track Racer GT seat. Connected to it, there is an AOC 32 or 34-inch screen and then a full Fanatec setup. A Fanatec CSL with V3 pedals, a shifter, and a handbrake. I would really love to know more about the room itself. What was the reason behind choosing that specific area, or even a bit of story about choosing the parts? Regardless, RaceNut brings us a clean and cool setup. And that's it guys, I hope you have enjoyed the video. More episodes of this sim rig tour to come. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to leave a like and consider subscribing and hitting the notification bell so you'll see new videos and streams as they come out. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.